Hello there everybody, it's Carl Mormon, your garden guy, and today we're doing a special little scene. We're visiting with Andy the vet here from the Aloe Farm, and we're just going to have a bit of a chat with Andy around the aloes and some of the other plants he's breeding over here. Andy is a well-known plant breeder in the South African industry and internationally. Andy and his team have won numerous prestigious awards for all the different plants they've been breeding here at the Aloe Farm and C&D Nursery. So we're just going to have a quick chat and just kind of pick the mind of one of these professionals in the industry. So Andy, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you a few questions quickly.
Yeah.
And I think we should start by, where does your love for plants come from? Is it something in your family, or?
Well, my dad was a very keen gardener,
Okay.
and I enjoyed that. And I studied at university,
Yes.
zoology and botany. And when I was
Nice.
a student, I started loving aloes, and that's where it all started.
Okay.
So when you see the books of aloes, you
Yes.
see hybrids in the books,
True.
the natural hybrids that are developed in the field. So I thought I can do better.
Oh, nice.
And that's how it started. So I've been
Interesting.
breeding aloes since 1973.
Wow.
Every year I make new
Oh, it wasn't even a
hybrids.
thought back then, eh?
Sorry for you.
Oh, yeah,
But I
unfortunate,
would
eh?
exchange age with you anytime.
If only we could, eh, Andy? Andy, tell me, just for me, it's always been sort of an interesting thing how you guys create and breed all these hybrids. Could you maybe just give us a quick description of how one would go about sort of
Okay.
developing a
So-
hybrid?
So mostly what we do is we do traditional plant breeding,
Okay.
even though we use a lot of other more superior techniques as
Yes.
well, but most of our breeding is traditional plant breeding. So what we would do is we would select a parent,
Yes.
a seed parent and a pollen parent. So
Okay.
what we would then do is we'd pick something that's very strong flowering, like this for example, and then we'd pick something that we think that would match very nicely with it.
I see.
The aloes are very interesting because there's about 550 different species.
Wow.
And most of them will cross with each other, and most of the
Goodness.
hybrids will cross with each other.
Yes.
So you get to a stage where it actually is a bit too much
It goes
to,
a bit crazy,
to
eh?
plan
Yes.
and to decide what to do.
I can
But
imagine.
in time, you get to realize which parents give you what sort of dominant and which
Right.
give them what recessive
Genes,
receives.
yes.
So you could figure out more or less what you could expect from certain plants, basically.
Sure. Okay.
So that's how you learn with
Right.
time. It's
Yes.
great. We get fame from it.
You do?
All that, but it takes forever.
I can imagine.
That
I can
takes
imagine.
forever.
Because you've, of course, got to grow that plant to the point of seed before you can then breed it further. Is that correct?
We've got to flower it first.
Uh-huh,
On the
uh-huh.
first flower, we do a soft selection.
I
Then
see.
we trial it a second year, and then we select again.
Wow.
And eventually, then we start trialing those plants to see how they
Goodness.
would react in the industry.
Yes.
So once we've bred a plant and we've started flowering it, once we've flowered and selected it, it still then takes probably another 5 years before it hits
Goodness.
the market.
Goodness.
So the whole process could easily take 8 to 10 years.
Interesting. Eh?
And then you still must know that you should have started with the right plants.
Right.
If you picked badly, then that 8 years is wasted.
I
Then
can
you should
imagine.
have you should have done something else.
And then, of course, you still got to breed them from there to create
Yes.
sort of stock to
the
make
beauty
available.
of it, the beauty of it is if you're a plant breeder,
Yes.
and if you dedicated and tenacious like we are,
Mm-hmm.
every year you get better plants to work with. You
Okay,
get new
yeah, makes
hybrids
sense.
that blow your mind, and
Right.
then you start using them. So it is an upward curve
Right,
if you are
right.
doing it correctly.
Interesting. Very interesting.
It's a very, very scientific breeding program.
Right.
We keep tabs. If you look around, you'll see every plant here has got a tag with its
I've noticed that.
with its
yes.
pedigree on
Yes.
it. So we keep very good record. We do everything very scientifically,
Okay.
and some of our
Right.
aloes now have got over 50 parents in the
Can you believe it?
in the
Over 15 different, 50, 50.
50,
Can
50
you believe it?
different plants. Sometimes in that genetics you'll find that the same species was reused in a
Yes.
different combination,
Right.
come back to strengthen a certain
That gene.
characteristic that you
Okay.
want to bring out in a
Very, very interesting. Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that with us, Andy. The one other thing I'd like to mention, and I'm sure many gardeners out there will know, in the most recent RPM, which is sort of the largest horticultural trade fair in the world, hosted in Germany, Andy and his team won the, what is it, bedding plant of the year, eh?
the best new plant variety in the year.
Can you imagine best new plant variety of the year across the whole world? And that was, of course, the agapanthus called popping purple. Is that
Poppin'
correct?
purple, yes.
Poppin' purple.
Yeah. And it was on winter flowers.
Oh, wow.
So with all our breeding, what
Yes.
we try and do is we try and extend the flowering season.
Right.
That's better for the growers,
Yes.
the retailers,
Yes.
and
of course
for
the
public.
gardeners.
Because
hey?
the gardener
Yes.
doesn't want agapanthus and flowers once.
Of
He wants
course.
that agapanthus and its flower.
Reoccurring
throughout.
flowering and long flowering times and low
Yes.
maintenance, eh? So, Andy, please just give us a bit more information about this whole process you do in
Okay.
growing these plants.
As I said to you, it's traditional plant breeding. So with the aloes, what we do is we pick a father plant, which we want
Yes.
pollen. If you can see there's the pollen sitting on the flower. So we would then pick another flower. Let's say we wanted to cross this with this. We would pick a stamen. We could pollinate on, and you can see that the pollen sticks to it.
I see that, yes.
And then we put a color-coded wire around it to
Oh.
actually keep record of who the father is and which
I
are the
see.
seeds that we have pollinated.
Right.
Okay. So that's our idea. So that we keep a record. We've got a record on a computer to tell us
Right.
what green stands for. So when we plant the seed, we know we've got X crossed with Y. I'd like to show you. This is some of the results we've been
wow. Hey,
getting. This
how's
is a
that?
little new aloe we've released. It's called Marilyn.
Maryland.
The reason why it's called Marilyn, if you can see the open flowers,
Beautiful.
It inspired me. Have you seen that photograph of Marilyn Monroe
Yes,
where
that
the dress
famous
flares
photograph.
up? Yes. So that's what inspired, and that's
it
why
is
it's called
so
Marilyn.
beautiful.
It's a little aloe that with shortish stems that continuously flowers.
Beautiful.
So
Hey.
it's
Absolutely
a
stunning.
process to get to this. This
I
period,
can imagine.
This to get to this, I think there is at least 20 parents in this.
Crazy. So interesting.
But
eh?
that's why you've got to have the tenacity and you've got to
Right.
have the guts.
to do
This
it,
is the most important thing about breeding. You've got to have the guts to destroy 99.9% of your plants.
Well, yeah.
We do our agapanthus. We
Right.
would do 12,000 on average a year, and ultimately 2 or 3 plants will be selected.
Crazy. Out of 12,000
Yes.
plants, you pick
And the
3.
Yeah, but you know the rest make very good
Yes, compost.
agapanthus compost.
I'm sure.
So that's just the process, but
Lovely.
we love doing it.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
you go for that one special plant. That's what it is.
And worth it at the end of the
It's
day,
worth it.
I'm sure.
Now this is what I have to tell you. If you go into a nursery and you buy many different South African plants,
Yes.
gazanias, geraniums,
Tecomers,
gerberas, all
yes.
those things.
Yes.
They are hybrids that are really good.
Mm.
They've been bred overseas,
I
so
believe
every
it.
plant you buy, a small portion of that goes back overseas again.
Right.
Us as South Africans should be doing our own
I
plants.
agree. Absolutely 100%.
And that was what motivated
And thank
me
you
as well.
for your inspiration in the industry and the work you do for building us or creating these beautiful plants for us to enjoy in our gardens out there.
Have you ever seen that advert that says, "But wait, there's
more." Yes.
Watch this space.
Oh, good stuff. That's lovely to hear, Andy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all of our listeners or all of our viewers and I myself are very excited to see what you guys have in store for the years up ahead.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time today, Andy, and thank you for opening your nursery to us and our viewers. It's been lovely seeing you again. I think we'd like to go take a little stroll through the nursery and just view some of the stuff you guys have growing here.
Okay.
And yes, just
welcome.
show the guys what we have going here.
You're welcome.
Terrific. Thank you again, Andy. Ladies and gentlemen, Andy the vet from the Aloe Farm.
Thank you, guys.
And that's the end of a beautiful day at the Aloe Farm. Thank you so much for spending your time with me at the nursery today. If you've enjoyed this style of video or with the sort of interview style, please let me know that in the description if you'd like to see some more of these kinds of videos from the Garden Guy. Maybe we could do some nursery visits as well as growers. We'll see. But yeah, thank you for spending your day here with me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give us a like and subscribe. And till next time, goodbye. I've been Carl, your Garden Guy. Happy gardening and stay safe out there.